It's time to boldly go where no one has gone before. Or at least where I haven't gone before. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another Glacial Geek video. I'm Phil, the Glacial Geek, and today I'm coming to you with a discussion about my trip to Nova. So I've been to Nova. It's been a couple years since I've been. I think it was pre the pandemic that I had gone to last time. And the last time I was there, it was in Crystal City. Now it's been moved to the Washington Hilton in DC proper. So it's not really Nova anymore. It's more like a DC Open, but it's, Nova, still there. It's got all the same stuff. It's got the things that they want to do, and they've been building it and expanding it and trying to make more. And I took this as an opportunity now that, my life has considerably changed since the last time I was there, joining on with the factory team and all the other things that I've been endeavoring to do. I decided that I wanted to do it differently. I wanted to try new things. And this has been a convention of a lot of firsts for me. And I've got to tell you, it was amazing. It was a ton of fun. I got to meet a ton of great people, and I got to do a lot of really great things that really had me jazzed to be doing this stuff and to be working with these people and to be there and to be able to try these new things. I'm not going to lie, the factory team people, the people in the Army Painters team, all of them have been inspiring me to want to do more and to try more and push myself more and reach outside of my comfort zone. And it's been amazing. It really has been. And this, like I said, this con was a lot of firsts for me. So one of the firsts for me was that I did the Warcry GT. So it's the first time I've ever done a Warcry tournament. I don't have a lot of experience with Warcry, if I'm being honest. I've played a couple games. I had played, I think, 2 actual games of Warcry previous to going to the GT, and I had a blast. I played against 5 incredible opponents. They were all amazing people, and I went 3-2, so I had a winning record, which is, to me, pretty incredible. The people hosting it were super nice, and they had just everyone there seemed like really great people, and there was just this like air and this feeling to it that everyone was there to have fun, and everyone was trying to win. Don't get me wrong, everyone was trying to win, but everyone was there to have fun. And even though I didn't have a lot of experience with it, I do have a lot of experience with wargaming, so I wasn't coming in as a complete noob, and I'd made sure that I knew the rules of the game and that I was able to go in there and not ruin anyone's day. And we had 5 great games. We all were able to enjoy each other's company, play games, and try our hardest. I lost my first 2 games and then won my last 3 games. And it was really an incredible experience. I really enjoyed the game itself. I'm going to go and do a video about my feelings about Warcry at a future date and time. But I had a lot of fun doing it. And I even lost one of my games like real bad. Like I got ruffled. Like I got just rumbled. I got just like rolled. I was like by turn 3, they're all 4 rounds. All the rounds were 4 rounds, and like by turn 3 of this one, I was wiped, which was nuts. But I still had a blast, and the game was like half an hour, so it really was just like a quick game. And I feel like that makes a big difference, and I'll get into in my future video about Warcry. But what it did was it really, because it was so quick, it didn't leave like a longer lasting bitter feeling about it. It was able to just like move on to the next game and then play and keep going and just enjoy the company, enjoy the games, and keep moving and keep building and keep having a fun time. So that was my first time ever doing, like I said, a Warcry GT. But it was great. It was really enjoyable. It was a 1-day event, 5 games in that 1 day. And that felt like a really great experience to be able to go to this tournament, go to the convention, have the 1 day when I'm doing this tournament, and then be able to do everything else around the con that I wanted to. So I spent a bunch of time in the booth and whatever else I decided that I had to do. I had a couple of meetings that I had to go to. But what it did was it allowed me to actually play. It allowed me to have fun with a war game. And it allowed me to enjoy the con as a tournament player. But it also allowed me to have the space and time and capacity to enjoy my fellow nerds' company, allowed me to explore the con, see what was going on, and meet some really incredible people. The second big new thing that I did was I entered the Capital Pallet, which is their painting competition, and it was my very first painting competition. And I've got to tell you, I was so proud of what I was able to accomplish. And it was a diorama that I did. I called it Ancient Fury. You can see it now with the videos here. But it was something that just, to me, was just, it felt like a step forward. You know, I had been painting basically just to get tabletop ready. So I made, doing painting to get them ready for the tabletop, to get them ready for a game. And here I was trying to push myself to paint and model for the pure purpose of painting and modeling. I was just super inspired by all the other guys on the factory team. Sam Lenz, Caleb Wisenbeck, Thomas from the studio team, all the guys there. I was so inspired by them and going and them applying to Tyler and Adam and literally. Most of the people on there that were entering things into Golden Demon when I was at Adepticon, I was like, oh man, I want to do this. So I spent months. I really started this right after I got back from Adepticon, and I gave myself the space to work on this and not pressure myself and try to make something that I was very proud of and that I felt like I could put up there as the very best thing that I've ever painted. And I did. And it was a ton of fun, and it was super, super cool to see my piece in the display case there with all the other pieces. It was the largest one that they've ever had, the largest competition that they've ever had. There was like over 1,000 entries or something like that. And I entered into the Journeyman, which apparently I could have entered into the Novice because I've never done a painting competition before. But I wanted to do the Journeyman. Where I'm reading their description, it sounded like the Journeyman was when I entered it. So I entered into it. And I didn't win anything. I didn't get any commendations or anything for it. But to me, it was just the act of creating something that was me putting my whole ass into the production of it, and then entering it and actually bringing it there and then being able to display it and show it to people. Felt amazing. And I got some great feedback about the piece, about how I can improve and do something better. And it felt like I was really taking an incredible step in this. And I definitely got the competition painting bug. And I'm going to do another video about those and that in particular, because I put a lot of work into it. I got a lot of clips of me building and painting this thing that I'm going to go into and talk about the experience of doing that and what it meant to me and what it kind of built up. But just know that it was an incredible feeling. It really felt like it was like a foundational thing, a push forward for me with this hobby. And I talk a lot to all of you about finding the joy in the hobby. And it's time for me to put my money where my mouth is and actually find the joy for myself. And I absolutely enjoyed it. And I'm going to do more, and I'm going to go for more competitions, and I'm going to put myself out there and just try to keep getting better because I loved it. I really did. I love playing. I also love painting, and I love the modeling. And it was just so fun to do the storytelling, especially with the diorama. Feels like you're just like telling a story. And it was great. It really was incredible. So that was the second big first for me. I also got to meet some really incredible people that I had never met before and do some things with them, which was incredible. I got to meet Carl Tuttle from the Independent Characters. He's an icon in our niche, in our world, and he was just such an incredible person. Him and his wife were just incredible people, and I got to have a bunch of meals with them, and because he's friends with the Kat and Caleb from the factory team, so they had me come along on their stuff, and we just really hit it off. He was an incredible person, so much fun to be around. We got to go to a bunch of meals. We also did Liar's Dice for charity for Table War for the Table War charities, which is to help support families who have children who have autism, which is incredible. Like hearing about what they were doing with their charity, and essentially what it does is it creates a resource for these families that are trying to get things for their children. So autism affects a lot of people out there, and a lot of times these families are left in positions where there are resources available, but they have to ask for them because there's limits to what the teachers and the schools can offer legally because it's money that's being offered out there. But if they know what to ask for and how to ask for it, those resources are available to their children to help them be successful in their career path, so that they can have the accommodations that they need. They can have the help and support that they need in order to succeed. And I think it's an incredibly good direction to be taking for any of this. So it was a charity that I felt strongly could be supported. So I joined in on this charity Liar's Dice game, the first one I'd ever played before, and had a ton of fun. It was just so much fun, just like rolling dice and going through it. And it was really great to be able to do that, to help support what was going on with that. And we just had a really good time. And I actually came in third in the Liar's Dice tournament, which is pretty incredible. And I used those winnings to help buy macro mats, which is a pretty great thing from the Table of War there, to help improve my video, as you may have seen from some of these videos here that I've shown of some of the models that I got to do with it. And it felt good to be able to do that, and it felt like it was just a really incredible experience, and I really enjoyed it. So I got to do that. I also met the fine folks over at Roleplay Rejects. So I went to a creators meetup or mixer, whatever it is, so you can meet fellow creators. And some of the people I met were from a podcast, for Wesley, and specifically Wesley and Misty from Roleplay Rejects. And we has had an incredible conversation. They're incredible people. And we just had we just hit it off. Like one of those things, like one of those meetings when you meet someone and you're like, oh, wow, this is amazing. This is so cool. I'm really glad to meet you. They were passionate creators about with what they did, doing the role-playing game. And I cut my teeth as a nerd on role-playing games. That's what started me as a nerd. Before comic books, before, really getting into gaming, or far before I was doing, miniatures, like I was doing role-playing games. That's when I really became when I, kind of realized I was a major nerd. I should have known, let's be honest. But that was like the first real nerdy thing I did. And that's what I dove into. When I was in high school, I would spend like multiple nights a week. I would be Friday and Saturday. I'd be role playing with my friends. And to this day, I do role playing with those group of guys. But they were just so passionate. We were talking about that, and they were really nice people. We had a really great conversation, and hopefully something more will develop from there. But if you are into role playing as well as I am, make sure to go check them out. I think they're on any of the podcast. They're podcasts, but they're available on YouTube. I'll put a link down in the description for them. And also they're available on anywhere that you can get podcasts. So Spotify or Apple Music, or wherever else you get podcasts for. I don't know. I use Spotify. So I know Spotify and YouTube. Those are the ones I get my stuff from. So that you can do those from there. And I'm sure they have other ways that you can do it. If you prefer getting your podcast from anywhere else, they do it anywhere podcasts are available. But they're incredible. Give them a listen. They're real play. They do. It's like new and lesser known role playing systems. So they have a series of the Fallout RPG. They've got a Call of Cthulhu. They also have smaller games that they do. Just really great stuff. Really great people. They're a lot of fun. So go check them out. And again, just having the space to do that. Where if I wasn't just stuck at the GT, the 40K GT, which is like 9 games or something like that over the entire course of the tournament, I wouldn't have had the space or the capacity to go meet these people, to do these things, to try these things. So I can't recommend enough that you look outside of the world that you kind of building. Because before a lot of this, as I like to put it, before the factory team ruined me and wanted me to try new games and new systems, it was 40K. That's what I did. I did some kill team, but it was almost, predominantly 40K. And I would go to these conventions and I would go to these tournaments, and all I would do is that. That's it. That's all I do. And by the end of the day, I was just wiped, and I couldn't enjoy what else was going on because I was so wiped. And now realizing that what I have to do to find the joy, like I said, is trying new things and pushing myself out of the bounds that I had put myself in. So doing things like the 40K friendly at LVO or at Adepticon that give me the space, the time, and the energy to experience the other things that I get from these kind of events, that I get from this kind of thing, where the camaraderie, the just learning and meeting new people, finding new things and exploring. It's all very important. It's all important for me to find that joy doing so, and to be able to have that space that I wouldn't be able to if I was only doing 40K, if I'm being honest. Like when I do only 40K at the GTs, I do enjoy a big tournament. Don't get me wrong. And I'm going to be doing those. I'm going to be going to DreamHack, for instance, and doing their GT. And it's like, I will continue to do those because I do love 40K competitively. But there are certain ones, especially like the bigger cons, that there's just so much going on that I want to explore, that I want to meet people and do things and be in the booth to be able to meet other people coming by. I got to meet a bunch of fans that came by and shook my hand. That always makes me feel just incredible to be able to meet people that, you know, it makes me realize that I'm not just like screaming into the void with these videos, that there are people out there that appreciate what I'm doing and like what I'm doing and want to hear what I'm doing. So being able to take a step back from like the big GTs that it just take 3 days of just constant 40K, to realize that I don't need that as much, because I'm not competing for like top of ITC. I'm doing these things for fun, to enjoy myself. And I can go into something and get the competitive itch that I want from a game like Warcry and do it in 1 day. Or I can do the 40K friendly and still have competitive games, but just it's a little more laid back and taking less time and less stress, to give myself the capacity and time to be able to explore other aspects of these conventions that just bring me the joy that I want and make me feel good about everything that's going on. Because that's important. It really is important that you allow yourself and give yourself the grace and the space to be able to pursue the things that feel good. So I got to meet them. I got to do those things. I did some cool meetings and stuff like that it gave me the time and space to be able to do. And I came to that realization that these conventions are important. I know I talked about the importance of small ones and how great it was when I went to TMX. And that's super important. But I think there's more of a general sense of all conventions, big ones, small ones, ones as big as your head, that really are important, because it allows us, because this hobby can be very isolating, if I'm being honest. You know, we spend a lot of time in our you know, offices or in our houses, in our rooms, whatever, like painting our basements, painting models, building models, making lists. Like a lot of the things that we do with this hobby is very isolating. It's just us with ourselves doing our thing. And these conventions allow us to go to a place where all of our fellow nerds are, where we all gather together to celebrate what it is that we do. And it's not this thing where it's like, oh, what do? You play with little plastic toys? It's like, you go into this and you know everyone's like, hell yeah, you play with these little plastic toys. You know, you don't have to prove anything to anyone at these conventions, because everyone's a nerd. Everyone's there to enjoy it. And you see their expression of the nerddom, however it is, from the high-end competition painters to the people spending, you know, in days and days over there playing 40K until the last man standing from thousands of, 1,000 people or whatever, like you get at LVO. You get, the people that are doing role-playing games. You get the people who are doing the narrative events, that are dressing up in cosplay. You get all of these different aspects of the nerddom, and it just feels so fulfilling. And you leave it feeling so energized and just wanting to do more and be there and be in this energy. And allowing yourself the space and time to do that, to me, I'm realizing is more and more important. That it's not just about like going there to just win a tournament, which you could if you want to. And I do it every time I go into a tournament. I definitely go into it with the hope of competing for the top. But I realized, especially for me, that I need to be able to give myself the grace and space to enjoy these aspects of the hobby that allows me to explore what it is that makes me feel good. And talking, like I said, talking to to Carl, and talking to like Brent from Goobertown Hobbies, talking to all these different people that I met and saw, like good friends and people that I've I just don't get to see unless we're coming together for these events. Just being able to talk to them and enjoy their company and be able to feel that energy, it means the world to me. I realize it means the world to me, and I want to do more, and I want to go to more, and I want to be at more, because I left it feeling so jazzed and so energized to want to do more. That I honestly, the next day when I came back, I felt like frozen because of all the potential that I felt inside and that I wanted to pursue. And now I'm, we're going to keep going. We got to keep moving forward. So, and that's, to me, it like that energy, that feeling is so important to me that I want to make it happen, and I want it to be an integral part of my life, that I had to do that. So it was just a wonderful, wonderful experience. And I highly recommend that you all try it if you can. If you have the time, if you have the capacity to go to these things. Even if you go to it and you don't want to enter a tournament, there's plenty of other painting classes. They've got other things that are going on. Even if you just want to come for a day, like if it's in your town, like if you live close to it and you can just go for a day or something like that, just go to it, just to feel it, to experience it, to feel that energy, to look through the dealer hall, see what there is that's going on there, and explore different things. Like I got to go, I bought a couple busts. I bought from Neko Galaxy, and I bought from you know, just all these different things. It was just like incredible to be able to do this and explore. And I highly recommend that you give it a shot if you can. So do it. That's what I say. I say do it because you're going to feel the ability to just explore and feel who you are and find that joy. You can't really explain it until you do it. Other than to say that it was awesome and I had a great time, and I think you would too. And all the people I talked to had a great time, and that was a really important part of this whole thing. Is you're enjoying each other's time, you're all enjoying this time, and you're all very happy to be nerds there, and that's all great. So let me know down below if you've ever been to a convention. What would be your recommendations for how to live and explore in these in these tournaments or these scenes? If you think it's important to do the tournaments, or if you think it's important to be able to explore the convention and do different aspects. I want to start to take a painting class. I think next time I go to a tournament, next time I go to a convention, I really want to try that. I think it'd be incredible just to be able to do it and push myself to learn even more and be around other people and learn those different things. But let me know down below what your experience has been with it, and we can keep that conversation going. I love the interactions that we get down there, and there's a ton of things that I've learned, especially the different videos that we've been able to talk and hash things out, and it's been wonderful. I really do love it, and I really appreciate all that you guys do with your, you know, liking, sharing, and subscribing. It all means a lot, and it means a lot to know that there are people out there that want to hear what I have to say, because it's sometimes, like I said, the whole isolating thing, you know, it can feel like I'm just screaming out into the void, that I'm just putting this stuff out there and no one is going to hear it, you know. But to have those comments down below, you know, that just telling me how it impacted them and talked about them, and the messages that I get and the people that come up to me in conventions, it means the world. It really does mean the world. It means that all this work and the effort that I put into this is worth it. That's what it's worth it for there. But one thing that I can do to help give back, other than just keep making videos, is that I am a member of the Army Painters Factory team. And that's been allowed me to do some incredible things, and it continues to allow me to do some incredible things. But I wanted to make sure that when I got it, that I was able to give back to the people that put me in a position that I was able to be part of the factory team. So I negotiated with them when I signed up for it to have a discount code that you could go to the Army Painter and use and get yourself 5% off if you go and use the code FactoryGeek5. And you put it in there, you will receive 5% back, 5% off of any purchase that you make there. And if you join my Patreon behind that wall, behind the paywall there, they have another code that you can get 10% off, but it has to stay behind the paywall. That's what they asked me to do for this. So 5% out there for everybody, 10% for the people who continue to, you know, that pay into the Patreon to help support the channel more directly. But I appreciate all that you do, and I hope that that will help you to continue your path to finding joy in this hobby there. So I hope you guys have all enjoyed this. I certainly have. I have been Phil, the Glacial Geek, as always. And until next time, stay safe and have fun.